So about half an hour ago, I learned that the first episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Plus had landed. Thank you to the person who very kindly told me about this. And I decided to watch it immediately. A few years ago, I watched and reviewed all of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Even though I'm not the target audience in terms of age, I'm a big Disney fan. I love Mickey Mouse. I find them to be a lot of fun. And I had to check this out. And in general, it doesn't feel any different to the main series. Obviously, we're just one episode in, and I will talk about what happens in this episode. I'll go over the voice cast and various other things. But I was expecting but not hoping for significant changes with the animation style or maybe the design of the clubhouse. But actually, even though it's been nearly a decade since the last episode aired, it still feels very recognizable, which I think is a really good decision. So the first episode is called Mickey's New Helper. It's directed by Brony Lakomanov, and we have a voice cast including Bret and Iwan as Mickey. We have Kaitlyn Robrock as Minnie, Tony Anselmo as Donald, Tress MacNeille as Daisy, Bill Farmer as Goofy, and also the vocal effects for Pluto. And we also have Dee Bradley Baker as Little Helper. This is a new character who's been introduced, and this is an invention of Ludwig von Drake's. And it's a little hand on wheels. And I haven't seen anything yet, but if they don't merchandise that, I will be tremendously surprised. I fully expect them to create little toys of the handy helper, which is not a bad thing. If it works, it works. I think it could be a really great toy. I think it's something, this is just purely my opinion, that could really help children do things they don't want to do. For example, when I was growing up, let's be honest, even today at 33, I hated tidying up. Maybe if I had a handy helper, why don't I tidy up with the help of the handy helper? I think it's a toy that could also help children do things they don't want to do. And I think that could be really great. So if they merchandise it, I don't think that's a bad thing. And the episode initially sees the handy helper, Little Helper, trying to help out, trying to help make a smoothie, and the smoothie goes everywhere because Little Helper didn't know that they needed to put the lid on the smoothie maker. And I love the fact that even though the tool is there to help, it's still learning, as are the young viewers. Granted, all of us continue learning forever, but obviously very young children are still learning the basics. It might not be obvious to a young child that you need to put the lid on the smoothie maker before you press the button, or it might go all over Donald Duck, which gave us a great facial expression in the episode. So I thought that worked really well, showing that the tool, the Little Helper, is there to help, but like you, the viewer, it's still learning, and that's okay. Nobody got mad at the helper when the smoothie went everywhere. Well, maybe Donald did, but Donald tends to get mad at everything. And that also showed that instead of getting mad at the Little Helper for making a mistake, they need to teach him how to do it. I say him. Was it mentioned as a him? I'm not entirely sure. Somebody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that, whether they referred to it as a she, he, or an it, I'm not entirely sure. And then they are going upstairs in the wacky tube, and they play basketball very briefly, and then Goofy arrives in the glove balloon, and the glove balloon floats away, so the Little Helper decides to try and be helpful by wheeling after it and grabbing onto it. And obviously, being a tiny little hand on wheels, it's going to fly away with the glove balloon, and the rest of them use the Mousecatools to try and go after the glove balloon, and then Mickey gets stuck in a tree, and Willie the Giant comes along. I love that we have this first episode establishing that Ludwig von Drake is still in the series, Willie the Giant still around. I love that. And then they get stuck in a corn maze. And up until that point, I'd been enjoying the animation, really nice, brightly coloured. The corn maze is gorgeous. The animation for the corn maze is so stunning. And we had some really interesting angles as well. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then at the end of the episode, the main message is established. It's made very clear. Ask for help. If you're in a difficult situation, ask for help. Accept the help of others. I think that's a great message for anybody. And I don't know if this is going to be a recurring theme. I would assume, and I'm purely guessing, that the Little Helper will crop up every now and then. I say that. We may never see it again, but I would be very surprised if that's the case. And then we end the episode with the hot dog dance, which I have to say, I hadn't sung that song in quite a while. When I used to binge watch and review the earlier episodes, That song would be in my head so much. And then it kind of got replaced by the songs from Mickey Mouse Funhouse because I moved on to that afterwards. And now I have a feeling that that's going to be in my head again for a long time. So I'm not sure if I'm going to watch every single episode. However, there is a supporting character listed on Wikipedia as Duffy the Disney Bear, which is Mickey's teddy bear, which apparently has been at theme parks and on merchandise. I'm not familiar with the character. But if it's going to make an appearance in this, I'd be quite keen to see what that's like. So I might watch some more. We'll see how it goes. At the moment, Wikipedia only lists 6 episodes, and they are full-length episodes of 20-something minutes, which I was surprised by. I thought they were going to be shorter episodes. Not that that's a complaint or a criticism or anything, just an observation. And I'm looking forward to maybe watching more. I don't know if I'll review them, but certainly I want to check out Duffy the Disney Bear if that makes an appearance. So we'll see. Let me know what you think of it. Does it feel like the other episodes? If this is your first time watching it, you absolutely could watch this without having seen any earlier episodes, if that's something you wanted to do. And for now, I'm pleased to say it was pretty good fun, and I might check out the rest.